Business Center. So I just really want to make sure that you know that we help female owners in Central New York develop smart and successful business strategies. We work with you, we guide you, we help you, and try to find the solutions and answers that you need to support you as you are putting what you need to put out in the world. We offer free one-to-one counseling, free online learning, and free virtual networking opportunities, because we are 100% committed to your success. And if you didn't get the email this week, we have a new series starting tonight. So just want to cue you in on the Power Hour. We are now going to be doing this on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of each month. And starting tonight, we've got a series by Dr. Chris Allen, Self-Development for Women. So if you're thinking about, as you're putting this business into the world, what is it that you need to be doing, and how are you going to be leading yourself, and how are you going to help lead other people? So starting tonight, you can go register online. It's going to be from 5 to 6 the next 3 Wednesdays. And the first one here will be on self-care. Personal resilience are essential for your small business success. So develop your plan. Next week, it's going to be leading from the inside out, leveraging your unique personality strengths for success in your business, because we need to meet that strength, our passion, and our values to be able to do it right. And on the 28th, leading an effective virtual team in a small business, because after all, that's what we're doing. We are doing what we've got to do virtually. Yesterday, I was on Zoom from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night. So anyhow, tis the season. So first of all,
how it goes, Barb. I'm looking at my calendar today and I'm like, oh my God, did I bring my brush? What's going on with the hair? Like, I can't hide now.
Cool. So Lacey, would you like to take it away and tell everybody a little bit about what we're doing here today?
Yes, today is different, and Barb and I are so excited to have everyone in here. This was a group that Barb and I pulled together, because today we're talking about starting a business in a pandemic/recession. We all hear the craziness behind it. I'm sure everyone has an opinion as to why it shouldn't be done, but we're here to discuss why it should be done and the positives behind it as well, because it's definitely offering a unique perspective to get people ready for when cycles happen. So to the ladies who have joined us, it's nice to see everyone. And we have a few topics, and we'll open it up. Please have discussion as you feel comfortable, but don't feel like you have to throw yourself out there if you're not quite ready. But thought we would kick it off with exactly that topic. We're so well versed in the challenges of opening a store or a business, an enterprise, and we hear all the reasons why it shouldn't be done. I really wanted to hear from you guys the benefits of starting in a recession or a pandemic. Who wants to kick it off? Barb?
Sure. Well, you know what? One of the things that I have found, and I'm really so glad that we've got our clients that are joining us today, because it's really about us guiding them. By the way, I don't know, I said Barb Stone from Build Your Path. I'm one of the business coaches. I think for some reason I always forget to introduce myself. And Lacey, Roy-Ciciriello, she is also one of our business coaches, counselors, that we're here to guide you. And I think, you know, one of the things that I have found that it is a positive thing for starting a business here in this pandemic time is that it's an opportunity for women to put something out in the world that they didn't have the chance to be able to do. And it's really, it's this like, let's take a look and seeing what can I do? So it's been an opportunity. And the other thing is that I'm finding we all want to leave a legacy. And this is a way for us to put our voice out in the world. So all this stuff is going on, the pandemic, life is a little bit crazy, but I think that what we can end up doing is that we can put something that we really want, our passion, our voice, out in the world. So I think that that's just some of the things that have been really very, very apparent to me. And I wrote down one other thing, and it's, you know what, I wrote a soul connection. How many people have really got that thing that's inside of them, that just putting it out? I just keep on saying the vision, putting it out in the world, but that's what's really happening. And I know that we've got some clients here. We're gonna let in. One of the things I want you to know is this is an open, so just kind of raise your hand, and we're really hoping that you will get involved in the conversation. And if you would like to, you can tell us your name and what your business is doing, and some of the things that have been, you know, the great opportunities that you've had. So Lacey, what else do you think has been some of the greatest opportunities for us during this time?
Well, I didn't open too much further ahead of the pandemic. And one thing that I'm really appreciating is I'm learning where the sticky parts are. So it's easy. It's never easy to start a business, but it's easier to start a business when things are at the top of their game and things are running smoothly. It's almost a false sense of security. But now it's, okay, so this is the sticky part, or this is clunky, or this needs to be smoothed out, or as far as suppliers go for physical products, I own a service. I do Full Bodied Health, which is a nutrition coaching service here in Syracuse, slowly taking over the tri-state area. And so it was much different for me as a service provider as it is for products, and looking at supply chains and how they're affected by a recession. So I'm enjoying the heads up before I get even bigger to where the sticky parts are in the business. Hey, Kim, I saw you had your hand up. Do you want to jump in? Maybe unmute. All right, maybe she didn't have her hand up.
That's okay.
So one of the positives I was talking to with Alicia, who's on here today, was the supply chain, and figuring out when one supplier goes down, what happens, and already having that plan built into place. Because whether we'd like to believe it or not, the economic situation is always on a cycle. So Alicia, do you want to jump in about the supply chain? What yours are?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, everybody. I was having some issues for some reason on my computer. I couldn't hear anyone, so I'm on my phone. Yeah, so I'm in the process of starting a business with basically a protein bar that is customized for lactating moms. And I have to have, you know, a whole mix of various herbs. And so Lacey and I talked a lot about that with the supply chain piece, because one of the providers that I was looking at ordering from had like a 2 to 3 week delay just because of the pandemic. So yeah, so that's been something that has been good for me to think about and consider as, you know, I look at having more than one supplier to order the various herbs that I would need.
Cool.
Diversity is key.
Yeah. And I kind of looked at trying to have, I love to do local whenever I can. So I looked at some local providers, but then also as a backup, have some national ones just, you know, just to protect myself.
Okay.
Hey, Joni, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I just tagging on to that, being able to try and find supplies has been interesting. Lots of back orders, especially because for my business, I'm sewing and making masks and making different bags and tote bags, but especially with the masks, elastic and like different supplies have been very difficult to come across. Something that was ordered back in August only shipped on Friday. one place where I would go and get supplies was when I would go visit family. Now, not only is that store closed, I can't go visit those, so there are lots of challenges. But then on to what Barb said earlier, it's also been an opportunity because I actually initially went to Wise with a completely different idea. But it was like the week before everything shut down, and then your mindset changes, and I think it made me be a little more creative, but also just think about things differently. And so that initial idea, maybe 5-10 years down the road, but not right now. But coming up with something else.
Well, what other challenges, what other opportunities that have turned out to be positive from the rest of the panel here? Emily, Christina?
I got one.
Yay,
I'm sorry, I'm outside walking still, so I'm gonna join you guys when I'm actually at home. I'm actually walking home from the teaching at the university right now, so it'll be a while before I can actually speak.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Jacqueline, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, hi. So my name's Jacqueline Capello. My business partner Crystal and I are starting a plant-based meal delivery service called Your Kind Kitchen. Yeah, it's exciting. I guess we're on the positive end of this because we would have never imagined starting a business until COVID hit. And she and I have loved cooking for years, but because we both have families, we didn't want to do the be a chef because you don't really get personal time. But what we were finding was that a lot of moms and families were saying that they didn't have time to cook meals for themselves anymore because of how busy everybody is getting because of COVID, because maybe you have a lot of people home. So for us, it ended up being an opportunity because we're actually now working on feeding people that will be at home. And because people aren't going out to restaurants, meal delivery services have an even bigger interest. And because more information is coming out about the nutritional and environmental benefits to plant-based eating, we found that there weren't a lot of places that were doing that locally. So, and for us, it ended up being a benefit. And our only supply chain problem so far has been that mason jars, oddly, are kind of hard to get because a lot of people are doing canning this year. But I mean, it's not like they're not there, but it was one of those funny things where we were like, really? Usually mason jars are like a dime a dozen, and now like you cannot find them. But that's it.
You know, who would have thought mason jars? But then at the same time, it's like, you're right. Everybody's home and they're thinking about their gardens or going to the market or whatever and being able to do things. Wow, mason jars.
Yeah.
Hey, Emily, can I throw you out there for a minute? Emily, she came to me and it was a very cool and specialized yoga place, and there's this need that's developing that Emily saw, and she's the queen of pivoting. So Emily, can you tell us how the recession / pandemic has kind of given you the opportunity to expand and pivot in a way that maybe wouldn't have been there?
It's very funny, the queen of pivoting. Like, I feel like I'm, like getting dizzy pivoting. Yeah, so in my experience, I was just starting a business as a yoga teacher for kids and families, and it was taking off. It was like really taking off. And I went to one of my newer assignments, I don't know how to call it, one of my newer clients, I guess, and sat down and said, nobody's going to be coming to class anymore. And I knew instantly that I had to go online. I've been teaching online for many, many years, but not yoga. So that was my first pivot, was like, well, I guess my little business just has to go online, and it turned out that was working for a little while, and suddenly I was on social media and doing kind of like a totally different thing that I expected I would be doing, but the need grew within schools. And so when I was working on developing my business plan, it was really small. It was really like, going to be just this little service that I offer. And then I would just pop it online. And then as I started developing a longer term business plan throughout this time, some of my longer term goals were to work with teachers and work with people in schools. And all of a sudden, a couple of interesting opportunities dropped in my lap to take my business model into schools and to train teachers and to help teachers who are trying to work with their children online. So I just keep, either opportunities knocking, or as I'm sort of reaching it out into the world, I'm thinking, what can I provide? The two have been coming together. And so now I'm finding myself working with bigger organizations and trying to brainstorm how I can use my knowledge, right, to serve a model that might work for them. So it's a little interesting because, it's been a transition of thinking that I was holding the reins to now starting to collaborate with different business partners. And it's like been a fast forward that I just wasn't ready for. So I'm learning a lot through my business coach, as well as, other experts who have been in business for a while. So yeah, I'm learning to listen to the need, and I have all these things I can offer, and I'm trying to tailor what I have to offer to working with these partners, but also kind of like not lose the essence of the things that I care about. And my little business model, it's like a little engine that it's kind of like there in the sidelines chugging along. But I don't think it's going to be the money maker, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the need is, the demand is out there. So I'm trying to find ways that I can meet the demand. Yeah.
Emily, I just want to say, you've got your business plan on the side. It's like, it's like one of the things, you put a plan together, it changes immediately. And so it just sounds like you are just pivoting and taking up and listening to what are the needs out there. And then the other thing I heard is not only working with Lacey, but also the other people that are in business that you can learn from. And this is the opportunity that we have to be able to do this. And that's the greatest thing about this organization, the Y Center, is that we can bring women and different perspectives together. Great.
Yeah, yep, I agree. And it's been interesting too to work with other business owners who are simultaneously transitioning to online work, as yoga teachers. So I immediately started networking with a whole bunch of other yoga teachers, studio owners, and saying, well, how do we do this? How are you doing this? How are you doing this? How are you doing this? So that networking is important, I think, as we're trying to make that shift.
That's been my favorite part, and something that Joni had said as well, and Alicia was hinting at. It's about being creative, thinking differently, and being super resourceful, and having that backup plan. And with Emily kind of bringing that in with how are you doing this? Really being able to tap into, okay, my brain is only so big, and whether I like it or not, I have parameters. So how do we break beyond that and get really creative and start collabing with other people? It's the name of the game, is to be able to pivot and say, all right, so I can't do it like this anymore, and we're just going to do it differently.
One of the things you both are like, word that comes to my mind is the networking of people. But Emily, you talked about what's working and what's not working for you. To me, going back to my manufacturing days, there were things that we would end up studying. It's called benchmarking, okay? Who's doing what and what's working and so it's not like you have to reinvent the world. You don't have to make the new playbook. It's like, well, what is working and what's not, and then kind of put that into motion and then create from it and create it to be your own. So congratulations, that's great, absolutely great. Anyone else, how have they been able to change and pivot and really create during this time?
Hey Devin, go for it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devin Negretti. I actually just started my business, 2 weeks ago. It's called Dev Communication. So as my full-time position, I do PR and marketing for Dig Safely New York, the 811 call before you dig. So I do that full-time. But on the side, something that I've really wanted to do is have a small business that helps other small businesses by managing their social media pages, and also utilizing my expertise with the press and writing press releases, as I used to be a member of the press in other parts of America. But really just, trying to help those businesses manage their social media pages, because social media is it's a full-time job in itself. And with everything migrating now to online, it's more important than ever. But it's also a struggle sometimes for smaller businesses, is they need to put so much focus into their business and trying to, like a few hours at night just posting to social media. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. Like, you have algorithms that you have to follow in order to get the right amount of reach to the audience that you're trying to reach out to. And that's some things that, business owners don't know. And so that's what I'm here for, to, do something affordable. But it's just something, for business owners, everything, like Emily was saying, it's all trying to shift everything to online, and, and also using the social media as like your free marketing outlet as well. And it's just, creating also those different, having another person to creatively brainstorm how to make your business, interesting without, and like also maintaining certain rules. Like, with COVID, you can't have, somebody next to, like, you can't stand in a picture with somebody without having a mask on, or, especially representing your business, because then, you'll get in trouble for it. And it's just kind of one of those struggles. But it has been fortunate for me, like it's, opened kind of the door for me to really push what I wanted to do. So that's exciting.
So it sounds like it's been a door opener to get out there, versus without it, you may have taken longer or may not have done it quite yet.
Yes, it took a little, it's definitely taken sometimes, as life throws so many curveballs at you, but it was a door opener. And now it's also somewhat of a struggle. Like, right now I have my first client and it's amazing. And I was able to get her on Bridge Street the other day, actually on Monday morning. And that was so much fun and we had a blast. But, now it's coming to trying to recruit other clients and recruit clients safely. So, trying to maintain the personal interaction without, actually going places because, part of the issue with COVID is just if you have a stranger and you guys come into contact, like that's how makes you more susceptible. So now trying to figure out how to maintain the human interaction and, pitching yourself, but doing it virtually.
That human interaction, because one of the things I'm always really want as we're going through this pandemic, and you really hit it, Devin, is that there's a human on the other side. There's a human that we're really trying to connect. And even though we're on Zoom, sometimes we kind of lose a little bit of that from there. So, wow. Thank you. Great story. You saw a niche to being able to, just 2 weeks ago, that's absolutely wonderful. And I think like having you come here, I know that a lot of people could use some help on social media. So thank you for joining us and being here. Anybody else have any other stories that they'd like to talk about what has been an opportunity for them during this pandemic?
We have one direction to go that I really am curious about all you ladies out there. So to start a business, it takes a fair amount of courage and confidence. And we know that sometimes those aren't at the same time. And we have the courage to go forward because we're not confident. And sometimes we have the confidence to go forward, even though sometimes the courage is lacking and we're fearful and all the things. So it can be an alternating battle sometimes. So during a time when the country's spending habits really are changing and have changed, how are you guys handling that mindset of courage, confidence, like we're going forward, this is the time, this is my time, we're gonna do this? That mindset piece can be a big trip. So how are y'all handling it?
I actually am just looking into starting a business right now, so I'm here for courage and advice and how to do such a thing. I've been fighting with the idea, not thinking I'm good enough for a long time, and it's time to just do it. I'm 36 years old. I have 7 children. You know, it's time for me to break off on my own and do what I want to do.
Cool, cool. So, and your name is?
Jessica.
Jessica, one of the things that myself and Lacey, we are here. This is exactly what we do. We help work with you, women who have these visions and want to put it out in the world. So I would encourage you to please go online to thewisecenter.org and sign up for counseling, and we would love to help you from there. Okay.
Emily, I saw that you had your hand up first, then Devin. If you guys want to go in that order, that'd be great.
I was going to say that I've noticed I have to surround myself with positive people. So there's certain people who are encouraging me, not just my business coach, but in my personal life, people who believe in my product or believe in my idea. It's very much word of mouth for me. So when I speak with friends, or a lot of friends, right? You know, sometimes family, but friends and coworkers in my other job, you know, like my job that I've had for a while, my personal job. I just talk about what I'm doing, and when I hear feedback that's positive and people are like, that is a great idea, I turn back to those people. So I contact them every once in a while, maybe say like, well, how are you? I just want to tell you how it's going. What do you think? And so getting those cheerleaders around me is really essential. And there are times when it gets really hard to believe in what you're doing, when you feel like you're hitting a lot of dead ends. Like some of you are talking about the supply chain issues, for example. So I need to have someone being like in there saying, oh, no, this is necessary. People need this. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Get back on the horse. So that's been one of my big strategies.
Emily, what you're talking about, and I truly believe it, is like you surrounded yourself with a tribe of people that are going to be there and be able to support you. And when you really need some rah-rah, you know, and you've got Lacey there, and that's what you really need to do, is really tap into those people around you. Devin.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Emily. Like having the support of my family has definitely, you know, presenting them the idea and having them say, go for it, having friends say, go for it, you know, and then sometimes you're still a little hesitant, but at the end of the day, you just have to do it, and you have to hold yourself accountable. That's what I did. I told so many people that this is my plan, this is what I want to do, and that's now going to have to force me to actually do it. And so having accountability for yourself is honestly just a huge key, and just throw up your hands and just say, I'm doing it. And then you get to work on it. And that's that. Like that's how it had to happen. I had to listen to, you know, a few different podcasts to kind of help build up the courage, but also just be told that, you know, who cares who's going to judge you? Like this is what you want to do. Like, you know, you're good at it. You know, you're going to slay at it. So just go for it and just hold yourself accountable.
Yeah. You know, go ahead, Lacey. Go ahead.
I love podcasts. And when I have those days, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just slogging this out. What is going on? I'm always going to How I Built This with Guy Raz as an NPR, and hearing these huge names like Lululemon and Crate and Barrel and the guy who created Cliff Bar, hearing all the crap they went through. I'm like, okay. So if vitamin water can sell for $65 million and it tastes like sock water, I can handle this. We've got this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny, Devin, when you end up saying, well, you know what, somebody's going to say something, but you know what? Who cares? Give them something more to say. Give them something more to talk about, you know? So go for it. Great. Jacqueline, you got your hand up.
And then Joni, you're going next. I saw your hand was up as well.
Hey, I started. Emily and Devin said it perfectly. You got to, and also Barbara, you have to surround yourself with that positive tribe. So originally, and I guess how I found, quote unquote, the confidence or courage is that originally my path was to just do a website, basically showing people healthier recipes and ways to be kind of more zero waste and environmentally friendly. But then what happened was I started getting an ever increasing number of people saying, that's all fine and well, but I don't know how to cook that. Could you please do it for me? And I kept thinking like, okay, well, yeah, you know, maybe. And then more and more, and we went from like 0 to 70 people saying like, I need you to just cook it for me. And so eventually Crystal and I were like, well, dang, I guess we found enough of a people that we should really start this business. It shouldn't just be in our head. We need to like actually find this courage and move forward. And Barb was kind of the big person for the confidence push because we had no idea what we were doing. It was like, we have a great idea, but we don't know what to do. So thank you, Barbara.
We're pushing it. We're pushing it. And I'm excited because this Saturday, she's going to have a feast, a sampling feast. And I'm really looking forward to being able to do the sampling.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes, it is. Joni?
Yeah, well, definitely get Barb on your side because, oh my God, you want a cheerleader. I wouldn't be this far along. I think for me, the extra challenge is that I live by myself. So yes, I can maybe talk to some people sometimes. I literally Googled affirmations for entrepreneurs. And so they are up around the house. And then to what Devin was saying, like at a certain point, you reach a point where you just have to do it at that point. It's almost not out of spite. I don't want to say that it's out of spite, but, you know, prove the naysayers wrong. And then for me, it was like, well, this is my last chunk of money and I put it into this business account. This is gonna have to work. There's no turning back. We're making this happen. Maybe that's not the right way to do it, but it's working so far.
You know, I think one of the things everybody is saying that you're taking this step forward. You're stepping into this leadership position of yourself. And you know, when you take this step, it's like you're putting it out to the universe that, you know what, I'm here. I'm going to do this and I'm going to move it forward. So cool. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Christina, I know you joined us, but would you like to talk a little bit about the opportunity that you've had lots of opportunities during this time?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just walking home from school. I was teaching at the university, so I couldn't quite join in time. I saw a familiar face, Jacqueline. I don't know if you remember me, but we've met at Melissa's like a while back.
As soon as I saw you, I was like, wait, she looks like she's from the story. Wow.
That's interesting how you meet people again and again in different circumstances.
Yeah.
So my story is a little different. So I lost my job in June. I'm working at an architecture firm here in town. And so trying to figure out what is the next step for me. I think I was questioning if I wanted to be another employee at another firm and like doing the same stuff again and again. And so I think looking into a business idea was like a kind of like made sense, you know, to explore that. Meanwhile, I'm like looking at all kinds of opportunities, and so things have come my way. That's what Barb, I think, alluded to. So the job that I was walking home from just earlier when I couldn't join you guys in time is because I'm teaching at the university, and so that's something that I've been wanting to do for a while again, and so somehow just seemed to be the right time to go back into it. And then I'm looking at, you know, trying to find other opportunities to kind of, while I'm working on my business, so I'm not established yet, and trying to figure out, does it even make sense to start the business? So I mean, just like looking at it from all angles, I'm kind of like doing different services for different architecture firms, trying to see, you know, if my idea is valuable. Because I'm basically not selling products like a lot of you guys. I'm selling services. And so that's a very different approach. And so I think just trying to take the time now to say, well, if I don't try it now, probably I would never. And so that's basically my story, I think. Barb, would you say that's summed up okay?
That's some, but also I think like everybody ends up saying, taking a look at the tribe, taking a look at opportunities, and you've got an opportunity to work with the Whitman School because of your type of architecture that you're putting out, sustainability. So that's like another opportunity that came to you to be able to get information here. Yep.
Right. So I'm working with some students at the business school at Syracuse University, and this happened because of my involvement with Barb at the Vice Center. She came to me and asking if I wanted to work with those students, and it's interesting. So they're gonna help me figure out some things I want to do research on for my project or for my business, and so it's almost like I'm branching out in collaboration, and that's something that otherwise I wouldn't have found.
Yep. So lots of opportunities out there. Anybody else have anything else to share that they'd like, that has really just tugged at their heart, that they've learned during this time?
I was going to share, I can't figure out how to raise my hand on my phone. So
it's okay.
I was, if anybody knows, I was like, I don't know, I can't figure out with the condensed menu, but I was going to share that I think for me, what's been so helpful is just being connected to the Wise Center. I have business ideas all the time, and I had this business idea for a while to start some kind of grab and go protein bar for nursing moms that both would, you know, boost your milk supply, but also give you really good nutrition. And the idea just felt too big. It just felt too hard to figure out how to even do it. I was like talking myself out of it, you know, on and off for months. And then I surrounded myself with, first of all, talking to other nursing moms and said, what do you think about this idea? You know, do you think you would buy something like this? So I did a little bit of research. And then, but being connected to the Wise Center has been such a lifesaver for me, because I don't think I would have actually pursued the business idea if I didn't have Lacey like kind of cheering me on and keeping me accountable. We sort of set like weekly goals and little like sort of eat the elephant one bite at a time, right? So it feels so huge. Like to me, it felt very overwhelming, but it's been really wonderful to have somebody help me break it down and say, actually, it's not that hard, and you just start here, and then we're just going to do it a little bit at a time. So I think the accountability piece is really important when you're going about starting a business, and it's really nice. It's been really nice to have a business coach to help keep me accountable. So thank you, Lacey.
You're very welcome. It's been really interesting from this side of the table, especially. I so get that overwhelm, because I have where I will be, and then trying to back end into it with, okay, so this is my first step, second step, third step. We got it. When you had come to me with that, it's like, oh man, do I know that overwhelming feeling so well. And it's been such a pleasure. It's also been a godsend to me, because working through an issue or a challenge in a different way, in a different industry, helps me be more creative and well-rounded with my own. And it's been really interesting that so many business clients are mirrors with what I just figured out, or I just learned, or am going through myself with the mindset piece. Because with business, especially as a female, and especially a solopreneur without a business partner, it's something to be out there and having those conversations of, do I feel safe to have a national brand because now I'm going to be seen and it's me? Do I feel okay with success, and what does that look like for me? And having these conversations with y'all as business clients has been a godsend to Barb, Sarisa, and I, as much as you guys have said it's helpful for you. So thank you, because without you guys, it wouldn't be the same.
You know, I'm going to build on that too. So yes. And, you know, So obviously I'm a leadership development coach, and I started my own business. I left my corporate job at the end of 2018 and I have my own private clients, and then the opportunity came up to work with WISE. And I end up having to say, sometimes I feel like I have to pinch myself. Like, this is so great. This is like my dream, to be able to help support women to put the thing that they want out in the world, and to be their guide. So yeah, I'm gonna mirror that and say, yes, thank you, Lacey, for starting that, and thank you all for being our clients and allowing us to be your guide and helping you move forward. And you know, one of the things, I'm also been involved in John Maxwell, was like one of the things I did throughout my career and in leadership. And this week, this past Friday, he had this thing called Live to Lead. He brings thought leaders from all around the world. He had Kat Cole, he had Steve Harvey, he had Alan Mulally, who was the CEO of Ford and Boeing. And as you all are talking, you said, you know, go to a podcast to be able to boost you up. But one of the things, John Maxwell, he opened up the Live to Lead, and he really talked about taking that step. And the first step, and then the second step is built on the first step. And then you just keep taking that step, and they just compound and they just build on each other. So Lacey, as you were talking about that, I was just thinking like, oh, yep, here it is. It's just taking that step to do what you got to do, and it builds, it allows you to take that second step and moving it forward. So congratulations to each one of you who are putting something so beautiful out. And I want to let you know, the fear factor is that it's real. I mean, I remember, and Lacey, you probably did the same thing. When I left 25 years as a successful female senior leader in manufacturing, and people were going like, we were talking about naysayers, like, what are you doing? You know, are you crazy? But I had this calling that I really wanted to do. I wanted to be able to help support people on their journey, because I didn't tap into it when I was a senior leader in manufacturing. I thought I had to do it all by myself. So congratulations on reaching out to the WISE, getting the help you need, taking that first step. You all really need to be congratulated. And I'm just so pleased to see all of you join us here. So rah, rah.
I would love to wrap this up with you guys. One piece of advice or one thing you've learned on this journey, wherever you're at in that journey. Who wants to kick it off? Anyone? Fine. No? Yes? No?
What did you learn?
Joni.
It will take longer than you think, but it's worth it if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'd be open by now. That's okay.
But had you not taken that step, you would have been that much further behind. So it's all about the learning as you're taking that step.
Yeah.
Emily.
So Joni's comment brings me to like the thing that I've learned, which is every little bit helps. So like, you know, I've gone from visions that are small to visions that are bigger, and trying to see my life in a longer framework, you know, because I really am at a moment where I'm re-entering the workforce, you know, after being a stay-at-home parent for a while. And so like the world's my oyster in a sense. I could go back to what I used to do, or I could do something that my soul wants to do, right? So so that's kind of what's happening for me. And you know, the lens like telescopes and zooms out and does all these things. You know, sometimes I'll be like, oh, like Joni said, I'm thinking this will happen tomorrow and it's going to happen in a year, you know, and then sometimes it's the other way around. But I've learned that every little thing is they could be the smallest little things I'm learning, but they are necessary, and they are, if I could look backwards, I can see how much I've grown. I can't believe how much I've grown, like in even just a couple weeks, and couple months, 6 months, you know, and it's shocking what kind of transformations I've made. So those little things that don't, when you want the big apple, but you only get like the little bite, it's like, I'm learning like those little bites are huge, and they build up to something much bigger for me.
Cool. Devin, you had your hand raised, and then Christina.
Yeah, no, I think like, especially for the pandemic, it really gave everyone a chance to really reflect on what their goal is and what they really want. And, you know, a big goal that I've always strived for in my life is to make a difference. And even just helping small businesses owned by men, owned by women, just to be able to help them at, you know, because like it's expensive to try and hire marketing people sometimes. And so even though I'm just doing it by myself, it's such a great feeling to be able to actually put that idea out there and actually make it happen. And I think a big part of that, you know, I've thought about the idea for 2 years. And then during the pandemic, like I still worked, but it's also gave me time for reflection of like, okay, what else do I really want to fill my time with? And so I think that was just, the pandemic was unfortunate, but I think it was good mentally for a lot of people, including myself.
Cool. Great. Thank you. Christina.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that what you taught me, or like one of the things that like has grabbed me most was the difference between expectation and expectancy, and that I need to be more patient and not like expect certain things. And I think in the end, things will work out. It's just like might not be in the way that I think it will. And so that's why I'm trying to keep an open mind on all the opportunities or possibilities that, you know, are out there for me. So I think that I just wanted to thank you for that.
You're welcome. So I'll just bring that up. So one of the things that I truly believe in is that we can set expectations for ourselves. But when we do that, they become really hard. And they're like, oh, I wanted to do that. I wanted to make it. And you kind of beat yourself up. And so instead of living with expectations, what if you were to live in the land of expectancy and just be in the flow and allowing what's going to happen and take a look at the opportunities? So thank you, Christina. Thank you from there. Okay, there is somebody else, an LG on the phone. Has got a hand raised.
Yeah, that's Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. Go for it.
I'm just trying to start this now, and now I'm offering services, and I'm just wondering like where I should start. Like I've started getting together a business plan, and I have bad credit too, so I don't know if there's any type of financing available for women business owners or anything. I just need like a direction to head at this point.
Okay. Lacey, do you want to answer or you want me to go?
Well, there's many ways you can go. It sounds like your best step is going to be, if you're open to it, one-on-one business counseling through the Y Center, so that it's no cost to you. And we can take a deep dive into your idea, where you're going, where you want to go, and really tell you, for you, what your first step is going to be. And there's so many different ways to go with funding right now that it really is dependent on where you want to go and what your circumstances are.
So I will mirror that and say yes. And so it's a step. And I think that one of the things, Lacey, where you were going is like, what did we learn during this time? And I'm going to reiterate it that, again, you don't have to do this alone. So, and that's what we are here for. And it's free. And it's like, you can, try it Once you fill out an application, you are assigned one of the 3 business coach counselors, and we will work with you. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody needs something else to being able to put the good work that they want out in the world. So it's not like there's just one size that fits all. We work with you individually to be able to help you get what you need.
Hey, Barb.
Yeah.
What's your piece of advice or one thing you've learned through your tenure as a business owner?
So as a business owner, wow, it's like, for me, I left my job. I quit my job at the end of 12/31/2018, and then in 2019 I started. I left a 25-year career in manufacturing. So the first year, honestly, I'm going to say 2019 was peeling off the onion of who I was in that manufacturing world. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much it was me. So I think it was the first year was really a lot of self-discovery of who I am. And I think that's something that, and I still am doing it, trust me, I'm not done. And so I think the one thing to learn is to, you don't have to do it alone, but also just recognize that you're learning. You're in a constant learning mode, and you're never gonna stop. So that's what I've learned, Lacey. How about you, Lacey?
That's a good one. One thing I've learned, it really mirrors you as well. So I opened the DBA for Full-Bodied Health in 2019 in January, LLC January of 2020, and I just filed C Corp with investors selling shares of the company so we can take it on a much bigger level. And each step of the process has been peeling off the layers and figuring out, who am I? Someone on here earlier today mentioned imposter syndrome. And sometimes I have to pinch myself with how amazing everything's going and the challenges that I'm facing and breaking down and being like, who the heck am I? And instead of letting it be this scared little girl asking that, I am, and anyone who's heard me outside of here knows my answer to that. Some nutty language, so I'll keep it to myself here, but I am Lacey Roy, that's who, and I'm doing it, and I'm gonna do it. And the more someone says, are you sure? The more it's yes, and I'll take pictures. The piece of advice that I think really is key is if you're going to do something, show up and do it on purpose. So many people I talk to are like, oh, are you just gonna throw it out there and see what happens? Like, no. We plan and we market and we do things right. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it on accident. I'm going to do it on purpose. So that would be the piece of advice I have. If you're going to do something, show up and do it on purpose. And the one thing I've learned is hire a really good therapist.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
You have your business coach counselor, and then you got your therapist,
Absolutely do. I see her as often as I can, because as you peel back those layers, there's always something that's like, wow, okay, Ami, I know what we need to talk about our next session, because this should not be what's holding me back right now. I'm not going to take this laying down.
Cool.
Anyone else? Oh, maybe. Yes, no? Go for it, Lori.
Just to really be patient, and that it may not happen on a time frame that I had expected it to, but I'm still doing it. And that's what I have to keep, my focus on. So every day is a new learning experience, and it's just one moment at a time.
Yeah. Lori, tell me a little bit, what is your business? What are you doing?
We officially opened, I officially opened up the business about 2 weeks ago. It's a companion care company.
Oh, cool.
So it's for seniors, it's non-Medicaid, so it's private pay only, and it's not medical. So it's taking them out into the community. It's keeping our seniors going, their hobbies, their interests, you know, whether it be baking or gardening, or they want to go to a friend's house, along with the cooking and cleaning, doctor's appointments.
Cool, great. That's so much needed in these days. Thank you for doing what your service that you do. Anyone else?
All right. I think we're good. Barb, do you want to wrap it up with one more commercial? And
Sure.
yeah,
So
I've enjoyed this so much, and the chat box has been so much fun. The comments between you guys of just boosting each other up has been really fun to watch, and each of you are freaking fantastic and amazing. Thank you for being here.
So I'm getting caught up on some of it, so thank you. So I'm gonna share I'll share my email and again, you can get me through the Wine Center too. I'm at Barb at buildyourpathllc.com. So I apologize if I wasn't looking at the comments enough. But you know what, I'm going to really tell you, this has been so enjoyable to really hear about each one of you and what you're doing, and you know, working on each other, you know, building on each other, and then also you guys have recognized people that you might have known from another. That's what Syracuse is. It's a small town. So, and you know, and I'm hearing and I'm listening to things and I'm going like, wow. I'm really interested in that, and oh, I'm interested in that, and I think that would be really cool to really learn. So thank you for being brave and stepping out and telling us a little bit about your business and what you're doing. So I'm going to, again, just the last commercial, because we do get people who do come on here and watch these later on. Please go online to learn about the self-development, because again, one of the things we were talking about here is that don't ever think you're done. I had one of my executive coaching clients said to me, so when am I going to close the loop here? You know, and I'm going like, I'm sorry, but it's not going to ever really happen. You'll get ahead, but you're never really going to close the loop because you're never going to stop learning. So please join Dr. Chris Allen for the self-development series, and it's specifically geared towards the wise. But remember that we are here to support you. We are here for one-on-one coaching, the Wise Center, free online learning, free virtual networking opportunities like this. And then also on the website, there are so many resources that are available for you through like the SBA and the resiliency series that we started when COVID first hit. So there's so much information there. So thank you so much for joining. Lacey, anything else?
Nope, I think you nailed it. Ladies, thank you so much. I've enjoyed having all of you on here and getting to know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Lacey. Thanks, Barb.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.